In the early days of his papacy, Pope Leo XIV has signaled that AI, artificial intelligence, will be a big concern for humanity. The Holy Father, in fact, says AI was one of the major factors leading to picking his name, Pope Leo XIV. Speaking to cardinals this past weekend, Pope Leo said the Church offers its social teaching in the face of another industrial revolution. He added artificial intelligence poses challenges for the defense of human dignity, justice, and labor. And joining us now is Paul Steidler, Senior Fellow with the Lexington Institute. Thank you, sir, for joining us. Get right to it. Pope Leo has a big challenge on his hands as he enters the pontificate. AI, what do you think will be his strategy in dealing with it?
Well, I think his strategy is going to be to embrace it. AI is based on mathematics, which is what the Pope has a degree in. And the Pope comes from a Augustinian background at Villanova, where the respect for science and reason is highly respected. That's something that Villanova President Peter Donahue talked about in a press release about the naming of Robert Prevost as Pope. The thing about AI is it can be used for either very good or very nefarious purposes. It can be used so that we find ways to grow more crops, ways in which we can address medical diseases more quickly. But it can be also used for very nefarious purposes, and we have to be very concerned, and I think the Pope will be very concerned about what China is doing, the godless communist Chinese government is doing with AI to repress its own people and exporting that technology externally. That's not the only source of concerns there, but the world is going to be a much better place. It's going to be much better for Roman Catholics and Christians and all people of faith if the U.S. and those who we are allied with are the ones who are driving AI and putting it forward instead of the Chinese. And we need to find ways to do that so that people's dignity is protected. The U.S. Congress just about 2 weeks ago passed the Take It Down Act, a measure that provides much better ways to get revenge porn and AI-generated porn of different people off the internet, and those are good things. But I think the Pope is going to have he knows the importance of this. This affects how we're going to be economically, how we're going to be socially, and it behooves the U.S. and the Vatican to work closely together here, much as the two did against the USSR and the Soviet bloc during Pope John Paul II's reign.
And we could talk for hours on this, I'm sure, because this is such a complicated and complex subject, and obviously a very serious one. On a more, in terms of evangelization, spreading the faith,
Sure.
How can AI help there? How can the Pope utilize AI to spread the faith across the globe?
Well, one thing he can do is to make sure that the Chinese do not distort Christian teachings. The Chinese are using AI and technology to change the text of the scriptures. They have, as your network has reported so magnificently, very negatively influenced the appointment of bishops in China. The bigger thing is AI is a way to get more information out there. So it's a way to more quickly, for example, go through the Confessions of St. Augustine and find those things that are going to be key if someone does not have time necessarily to read the whole thing. It's a way to ask spiritual questions, at least for an initial guidance. What does the scripture, what does church teaching say about X? And it's important not to rely just on the AI-generated information that comes in, but to go to those primary sources, some of which a person of faith may have in their own home, and go to them and look at them more quickly. So I think it's going to be very helpful. It depends a lot on how the individual uses it. But there are ways to use it that are going to be very strengthening and empowering to understand the faith better and to learn things more quickly that in previous times might have taken 2-3 days worth of research at a library and going through the card catalog and all that different stuff.
Yeah, it truly is amazing. Lots of threats on one hand, but lots of possibilities on the other. Paul, thank you very much for your time. We look forward to having you back on soon.
It was great to be with you, Owen.